Hey everyone, welcome to Math Talk. I'm your host, Brian Heisler, and today we're going to cover the last part of our little mini-series on solving inequalities. And this time we're going to do what I think are more of the complex inequalities, the ones that have two symbols. So let's try a couple examples and see how it goes. So we have an example that says 20 is greater than or equal to 5x plus 20, which is greater than or equal to 10. So because we have two inequality symbols in this example, what I recommend doing is basically splitting them up into two individual inequalities, solving each of them, and then graphing your solution from there. So let's take a look at what that would look like. I'm going to change the color here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part right here as one inequality, and then I'm going to change colors, and I'm going to take this part here as a separate inequality and just kind of divide them up and conquer from there. So let's do the red one first. So I have 20 is greater than or equal to 5x plus 20. So let's solve this. I'm going to go ahead and isolate my variable by subtracting 20 from both sides. That becomes 0 is greater than or equal to 5x. That's gone too. Then I want to just divide by 5. And 0 divided by anything is 0, so that's nice and easy. Greater than or equal to x. All right, so there's one example. Now let's do the green one. So the green one is 5x plus 20 is greater than or equal to 10. All right, I want to isolate my variable. Let's subtract 20 from both sides. 5x, this goes away, is greater than or equal to negative 10. Then I just want to divide both sides by 5. And x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Okay. So now that I have both my answers, I'm going to go ahead and draw my number line. The reason why I didn't draw a number line after I found the solution in red is because, you have with individual inequalities, you have a number and then you draw the arrow off to infinity or off to negative infinity. Whereas when you have two different solutions, your answer is really between two numbers. So let's take a look at what that would look like. I'm going to draw my number line here. I'm going to put my two individual solutions. Let's see, it's going to be 0 and negative 2. And then I want to look at kind of evaluating what each of these inequalities says. So in red here, it says x is less than or equal to 0. So I can draw a closed circle here. And you're looking at anything that is less than, which is left. But in the green here, I have x is also greater than or equal to negative 2. So I have a closed circle here. And so really you're looking at anything that's less than or equal to 0, which is left. But anything that's also greater than or equal to negative 2, which is to the right. So really your solution is in between those two numbers. So that's really something you want to pay attention to when you have the two different symbols. Your solution is a much smaller range of numbers than individual inequalities. So let's look at one more example and how you can separate them and combine your answer into one inequality graph. Okay, so negative 7x greater than negative 2 times the quantity x plus 15, which is less than or equal to 10. So let's separate this out a little bit. Let's see, I'm going to separate it from here, and then I'm going to go ahead and separate it from here as two separate ones. Okay, so the red one, let's go back to that. Negative 7x is greater than negative 2x, 2 times x plus 15. Okay, so I need to use distributive property to simplify this a little bit. So I'm going to have negative 7x greater than negative 2 times x, negative 2 times 15. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 15 is negative 30. Okay? Now I have two different terms with x in it, so I need to isolate those and bring them together. I'm going to go ahead and add 2x to both sides because my number is already over on the right, so let's get my variable on the left. Those will go away. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5x. greater than negative 30. All right, so there's one more step in solving this, but remember, you got to be careful. You're dividing here by a negative 5. And remember, the rule is when your last step is multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you have to flip your sign. So instead of greater than, it's going to be less than, and it's going to be less than 6. So there's one solution. Let's go ahead and solve the green section of the inequality. I have, let's see, negative 2 times the quantity x plus 15 is less than or equal to 10. So again, I need to use distributive property on the left side here, which is nice because I already found out using distributive property in the red that this is going to be negative 2x minus 30 less than or equal to 10. So let's go ahead and isolate my variable. I can do that by adding 30 to both sides. 30's go away. I get negative 2x is less than or equal to 40. So again, my last step is dividing by a negative number. So I need to make sure that it's not x is less than or equal to, it's x is greater than or equal to. So I got to flip the sign. 40 divided by 2 is negative 20. And so I have the second part of my solution. So let's look at a number line with these two pieces pulled together. Okay, so I have a number line here. And I apologize, my number lines are not as nice as the ones you'd see on the actual test. But let's see, negative 20 is somewhere way down here. Positive 6 is somewhere way over here. So x is less than 6. Well, less than is an open circle. And greater than or equal to negative 20, that's a closed circle. Less than is left, so it's really anything to the left here. Greater than or equal to is to the right, so anything greater than or equal to negative 20. And again, you see that my solutions kind of intersect with each other. You don't want to go outside of the range of these two numbers because it's, less than 6 and also greater than or equal to negative 20. So remember that when you have solutions with two different inequality symbols, your solution on the number line is going to be more of a range in between two numbers as opposed to going off to positive or negative infinity. I hope this helps when you get to problems like this. Remember, it's really the best practice is to separate the inequalities into two individual ones and then evaluate the solution as one whole by putting them two together. So I hope this helps. Thanks again for watching. Hey, one more thing for all the math talkers out there. You see the red button down there? It's a subscribe button. Click it. Tell all your friends. Right down there, subscribe. Spread the word.